a town you never heard of. Hey everybody, welcome to the Common Folk Podcast with Ben, Morgan, and Andy.
Welcome back to the 100th time, for the 100th time, to the Common Folk
There we go.
Podcast.
Yeah, kind of a celebratory episode we're doing here. We'll try not to break our own arms, patting ourselves on the back.
Yeah.
I don't know that we have a whole lot to celebrate, but there's some.
Oh, are you kidding me? No.
At least, 100 episodes, at least 100 beers each.
Yeah, at least,
Ooh.
you know.
For you guys,
100 White Claws for you.
no,
What?
not even.
You took a few off?
Yeah.
Hmm?
When I listen to them back, someone's always cracking one. And then sometimes I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, not today. I got to do this. And I do too today. But I just decided, fuck it.
How could you not for episode 100?
I don't know. You know?
Yeah. Well, there's plenty of things going on.
A lot, yeah.
So much going on. And, of course, you had even more things kind of crop up on you.
Yeah, it's kind of a sweet
Yeah.
timing. We've got here at the print shop, at the studio, we've got water lines busting all over the place. Things are starting to thaw.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to work with that. Currently can't use the restroom here, so go outside if you need to.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
I usually do anyway.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
Isn't there like some code for that for employees that they could file like
Andy's not officially an employee, so
I'm saying our employees, like, couldn't they be?
I'm unofficially enough to like not be able to sue anybody over
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
I'm just going to the bathroom and then not flushing and then on accident flushing. And
In a weird way, I bet you guys could sue me before I could sue you for
we totally
pissing
should.
in the woods.
We totally should. I think we have you on the Ring camera.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I forget about that thing. No.
oh, stop. That's
So yeah,
funny.
we got that. But the good thing is it's warming up around here. It's nice. We're in
65 it's going to
we're in
be.
February. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yesterday was even pretty nice too.
Yeah.
We're out shooting.
Oh, I
I
think.
shouldn't say we.
Oh yeah.
Joel
Throwing-
came out and shooting.
Throwing some clay.
Trap
Yeah.
season started, so
He's got
warming up.
practice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm seeing some of the tweets and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, there's a number of high schools that do that.
There are.
I guess I saw a stat that's the number one fastest growing sport in high schools across the nation.
It's I would believe that.
Yeah.
I mean it's pretty crazy. So just last year to this year, we're at least double our attendance as far as
That's great.
kids from the school that are shooting. Yeah, I mean there's a lot, and a lot of people just don't even realize it exists. So
Right.
then once they see it, they're like, yeah, let's go. You know, they want to come out. I think it could absolutely be way bigger than it is. But it's also kind of cool that it's not like ridiculous big. You know,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still kind of a niche thing, and,
Yeah.
and you and your guys are at the crux of it.
Yep. If anybody listens to this who has a lot of money and wants to invest in like an indoor shooting park, like an indoor trap shooting park,
Do it.
I'm down. Give me a call. We need to put this together.
I think we did this on a pitch meeting once where I went Top Golf, but with shotguns.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
You know, we could even stick with me.
I'm with
What
you.
if we do both? On the bottom floor, people are hitting those neon golf balls. At the top floor, people are shooting at them.
Oh, dude,
Oh, God.
I love it. I love
And you
it.
can even get like wompy, big golf balls and stuff to help your swing. You're hitting a heavier, bigger golf ball or whatever.
And golf balls that just like dust, like they just
Right.
pop when you hit them.
Well, and they make those too.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
But why do you want indoors just because of where we live?
Well, yeah,
Like
I
it's
think
cold.
it's because
Okay.
because then you can have that controlled environment. Like there's only certain times during the year when you can shoot
Yeah.
around here, so that would give you the ability to do it all year round. Plus,
Yeah.
even from like a non-competitive standpoint, like if just someone wanted to go shoot one evening
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
cold winter day or something like that, they can go to the place and do it.
Kind of like taking your handguns to the target range.
Yeah, it just would be a bigger facility,
Yeah.
so you got enough yardage to throw some clays
And
and
like
slam them.
You know-
bulletproof walls.
Well, there's a lot
Kinda.
of buildings coming up too, like a lot of like hangars and different type of old buildings
be
that
perfect.
you know
Yeah.
people don't want to mess around with.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'd be some logistics to it, but it's doable.
Yeah, it'd be
Right?
awesome. I guarantee that thing would be a hit. And like we were talking about earlier, there's so many teams coming up through the schools. Like those guys would love to rent time and come out,
Yeah.
in the evenings and the weekends and whatever in the winter season, the off season, and yeah.
I just think it's fantastic that it gives the the youth another option to do.
For sure.
And if they don't want to do it, no big deal. And if they do, great. It's something that they could really get into, and it teaches so many other things: gun safety, muzzle control, all those really important things that you pick up along the way, and you don't even realize that you're doing it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep,
So,
I agree.
but
100%.
so no, today I really wanted to talk about our 100th episode because I do all the editing and loading and getting it all put on all of our different mediums, and seeing the growth in that's been really cool. With this,
Yeah.
because I'm involved in different mediums or medias and with our sports show, and a while back we had our 100th episode kind of around Christmas time, and I didn't really take a moment to think much of it other than let's do something. It's our 100th episode. It's something that we can talk about, whatever. But we had a guest on, and he was just blown away and really enamored with it, and he kind of made me take a step back and look at it and kind of how impressive that it was. And so I looked into some of these numbers that he was sharing with me, and yeah, you do got to take a moment, step back, and realize, hey, we've maybe done something here.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what the sports betting show that my brother and I do, and that's the growth with that's been phenomenal. But it hasn't been as fast or as widespread or anything compared to Common Folk, which is kind of odd in my mind because I put so much time and effort and talk to so many people. We bring on so many guests. Every week I'm cranking out 4 feature-length segments with shorts that promote all that, and we blast it everywhere. And we get views.
Yeah.
And we get that stuff. But it's a whole different type of deal.
It is, yeah.
It's dead after that content isn't evergreen like this is to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is this has a longevity to it. You can always go back and listen to most of our, episodes.
Right, and it'd be relevant. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true. I never thought about that with sports.
Yeah. Oh, man. Especially with ours with sports betting, it's kind of dead like 6 hours later. Like if a guy twists his knee in practice, those lines are gone.
Or when you're talking about a specific
Yeah.
few games and then the games are over.
Then they're over. Right.
And also for you guys, like it's a little bit more of a niche audience with the
Sure.
sports betting. So
Yep.
where ours is a little bit more widespread, you
Yep.
know, people from all walks of life. I mean, it's just common folk. That's what it's called, right? So
Right.
we have all these common folk doing
Right.
all kinds of things.
But
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna let me share with you guys some of these numbers, and it kind of puts us in a cool spot. We're actually we're 1%ers now.
Oh, snap.
Oh, no.
We're 1%ers, and I'll get there. Just give me a minute. But just about every year, 2 million podcasts are launched.
Wow.
People come up with ideas,
Serious?
yeah, and shows that they want to get out there, that they believe in, that they think, okay, this is it. Out of those 2 million podcasts, 90% of them don't even make it past the 3rd episode.
Wow.
Whoa.
They shut it down. It's over. So that means only 1.8 million make it to episode 3 and 4. Out of that, 90% quit after their 20th episode. So,
Okay.
so the moment that we clicked over and made it to episode 21, we're in 1% of all podcasts every year that made it.
Wow.
Gotcha.
That's wild.
So, and we're we're at 100. We're celebrating our 100th episode.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it too, because like, what did it take to do that? You know, and like, I'm not going to downplay what we've done necessarily, but really when it comes down to it, it's just commitment and hard work.
Yeah.
And that like goes back to anything, you know, anything that you're doing in life. Like what's the number? Like what's the percent of like, if you, part of that success, whatever percent of that success, it's like 50% of it, it's more, I think, is just showing up.
Yeah. I've heard that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just show up and you're like you're 80% of the way there or something
Yes.
like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's so much of what we do. Like, I mean, we set up the stuff, you know, fairly right in the beginning with decent equipment and things like that. We fumbled around with some of these microphone holders, you know, people listened
Right.
onto the early episodes and kind of got that dialed in where we wanted. But then we just decided, hey, we're going to make a commitment. We're going to do this every week. And we're just seeing it through. I mean, really, you know, I mean, it's
we're
almost as simple as that.
Yeah. We're just doing the thing.
Doing
Yeah.
doing what you said you were going
Right.
to do, right? I mean, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know, for me, there's been a couple epiphanies, revelations. I don't know. I don't want to get too deep with it or turn it into something that it's not, you know, build it up to something. But I had no expectations for this thing. You know, you watched Jared and I record a couple episodes, and then you came around and said, "Hey, would you mind helping us out with this thing?"
Yep.
I don't know. I'm like, okay, I don't never say never, right? And I like you guys, and I thought you had a good idea here, even though we didn't even have a name.
Right. That's right. We didn't, in the beginning.
I think we
First,
recorded.
like 2 or 3 episodes.
Oh, at least we recorded at least that many in the beginning that we didn't. We were just building up the bank without even a name.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I think we did have now you say that. I think we had like 4 or 5 episodes recorded before we even had the name settled, and I actually registered as Common Folks, and then you're like, no, I like
That's
Common
right.
Folk. It's a little cleaner. So
Yeah,
I had to
yeah.
go back. It's like, forget that. And
Take the S off.
Yeah, I had to take that back. But without that, so since I didn't have an expectation and I was just kind of following your lead and just, I'd bring up topics or bring in guests that I thought would work, and just throwing different things against the wall, I think that allowed me anyway to just kind of not get too wrapped up in the numbers, not get too wrapped up in it has to be perfect, it has to be this, it has to be that, where I am hyper in that mode with the sports betting show.
Okay.
So like I didn't even really enjoy our 100th episode, but with this, it's nothing but enjoyment for me. And it also, you hear those quotes like, it's not the goal, it's the journey.
Sure,
Don't
yeah.
forget to enjoy the journey. That's what this has been for me. Like more than anything, I've just gotten to kick back, enjoy the journey, enjoy all of our guests. And then I think that also had an adverse effect or a positive effect on the numbers and the growth of this show. Because like maybe I wasn't so wrapped up in trying to be number one or the best or climb all these charts. We made the top 40 or something and top 20. Like,
Right.
okay, great.
Yeah.
But it does say something, I think.
It does, yeah. And that was really the kind of the idea of it from the beginning, which, excuse me, I'm glad to hear that that's the way that you feel about it, because the whole idea was just to be kind of low-key, enjoy, have some common sense conversations. Like in the beginning, I thought, so we're coming up on, or this is episode 100, we're what, almost 2 years? That would be about right, because 52 weeks a year.
Weeks in a year, yeah.
So 2 years ago, I thought to myself, a podcast could be neat. Like all these people are saying, like, oh, this would be fun, whatever. With what we do with Farm Focused, I really thought it'd be good to have more content, where we could help drive people to the website. But outside of that, I don't have any like monetary goals for it. I want to have fun with it. But then even beyond that, all I hear on audio, so it's going to be radio, specifically, and other podcasts, is just all of this like negative stuff over and over. And yeah, sometimes we talk about some of these negative topics that get us worked up or whatever.
Sure.
But it was always just like pissed off stuff that's going on with the 20%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This side versus that side.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I thought to myself, let's talk to that 80% that is the common people that don't feel that way, of the same thing they're hearing on the radio every day. Let's talk about common sense things, common sense perspectives, and just have fun with it. And that's really been what it's been.
Yeah. Well, we've had a number of guests on that have been business owners, right? And they all have different stories, and they're all fascinating, but they're all just like, yeah, we wanted to do that, so we did it.
Right.
They're just the doers. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Right.
not complainers or anything like that.
Yeah. And sometimes they didn't even know why they were, doing what they were doing, But I think for me, the guests have been so fun, just getting to know different people. That is something I guess I didn't really even envision. I didn't come into this either with a thought. I mean, most people know if they've stuck this far that I was like, no, I'm not doing this. And I've learned a lot. I still am not great speaking, at least getting better in the microphone. You totally have it because of all the stuff that you've done with news and TV and all that, but it's super new to me, and not interrupting and cutting people off. And, do you say too much? Should you say more? I mean, I think there's always something. I still don't love listening back to our episodes because I don't like to hear how I talk, because I'm pretty critical. Or I think, oh, I should have said that, or I shouldn't have said this. But, I think it's all been super fun for sure.
Do you know Saturday Night Live? You ever watch Saturday Night Live like back in the day?
Back in the day, I don't watch the new stuff as much.
Right. Yeah, I really don't either. But back in the day, there was this guy who emailed. I can't remember exactly how he communicated to us, but I think it was through email. And he's probably listening right now. And he was like, yeah, love it, whatever. And then he said something about, do you remember that Saturday Night Live skit? I think it was called like The Delicious Dish or something like that.
Oh, I don't know.
Do you remember that one?
Is.
It was a couple of ladies and they like,
Sweaty Balls?
yes.
Okay, there you go, yes.
That's the one. Yeah, where Baldwin
Eric
was on
Baldwin.
it. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And so then you have those ladies and they're like, oh, yeah, okay, like the way they talk or whatever. And this dude was like, Morgan is totally the host on The Delicious Dish.
Oh, nice. Okay,
she sounds exactly like that.
You've never
lady.
told me that.
Like the Martha Stewart
I forgot about
type.
it. Yeah, until you just said that. And so
well,
then
now
funny.
I gotta hear. Is that good or bad?
it's kind of funny. So then I thought,
great, funny. So
I thought back on it for a little bit, and then I listened, and I was just laughing, and like then that's what I could keep hearing.
Yeah.
So then I messaged the guy, and I'm like, "That's hilarious, man." He's like, "Yeah, love listening to you guys, whatever."
That is funny.
But yeah, it's kind of cool to get like some of that feedback, when people are listening and they've got opinions and they're just having fun with it.
Yeah.
We don't know either.
I mean, we haven't gotten too much hate yet.
Well, but I think that's also another thing where, not really knowing where it was going to go or how it was going to go, and me just following your guys' lead and doing the thing. The more and more I see is that people don't have. Not only are they fed up with what's being pumped out there mainstream media-wise, and legacy media is the new term for it, they don't trust it.
Yeah.
They don't trust
That's
it.
right,
They don't
yeah.
like it. So they're turning to things like this type of a podcast. And especially if we got like a topic, like we dove into a couple of them, like Silicon Valley Bank. I mean,
Right, yep.
just our little podcast got shadow banned when we tried to talk about that. And I even tried to put in the right terms so it would fly under the radar, and boom, we still got caught. Everything else, our notifications would go out and your phone would ding and this and that if you subscribe and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And for that one, it didn't.
Right.
You remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah.
I
And
mean,
you did like a post on it, like you
It didn't
recorded yourself
give you a
talking about it.
notification?
No, they turned off our notification. I truly believe we were shadow banned because they tried to slide that under the rug.
And speaking of that, we've only had one taken down.
Let's not use those words.
We can't use those words. I said something. What's new?
So Andy's been pumping stuff to YouTube, building up the YouTube, and then Google Podcast is converting over to YouTube. So you've been
Right.
moving over the whole library.
Yeah. And it's all moved over. And my gosh, I didn't even think about it because I manage our NCN's YouTube channel as well. And
Okay.
we'll get flagged on that every so often. And it blows my mind. I'm like, we're Nebraska journalists. I think we have a little bit better of a moral
Right.
compass than you, Mr. YouTube.
Yeah.
And I mean, just weird things will get you flagged. One we showed a little bit of a video of a country music artist that was going to be in Norfolk, Nebraska over the summer, and CMT's like, nope, that's our footage. Take that down.
Oh,
And
God.
it's like,
Yeah.
we are promoting you and your
Right,
industry
right, yeah.
and this singer. And I'm pretty sure we had rights to that video, but fine. I cut it out and got rid of it. I don't care. I'm not going to argue over that type of stuff.
So on our episode, you had put all that stuff up, and then like a day later, I got an email.
It wasn't even a day.
Yeah, it was like within a few hours maybe?
Yeah, they went through like 87, 89 episodes, and within a couple hours, flagged.
Yeah.
Boom.
So I get
Throw
this-
the flag.
I get this email that says like, you've violated or whatever, blah, blah, blah. We're taking this down. And it gives you the exact minute
Yeah, I listened
in
to
the
it.
recording. So I go in there and I listen to it. And we're talking about a recent health scare that happened.
Do you notice how I
in
would
the
always
world.
go, like
Yeah,
that?
right,
And you
yeah.
guys would always laugh at
Yeah.
me. That's why I would do that.
Yeah. So we were talking about that. And then, Morgan pipes off a little bit about something that could be construed by some folks as a conspiracy theory.
That's another problem with AI in my mind, and the bots that they have doing all their work for them because they don't hire people.
Yeah.
They don't get sarcasm.
That's true.
Oh.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And you were being
You think AI caught that?
yes. Well, whatever you want to call it, a type of
Yeah, I
AI.
believe
it. Okay.
Everything's getting lumped into AI now. There's no way that someone listened to that little quippet of what you said and thought, oh my God, she's
Right.
telling people that blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely.
Right.
There's no way.
There's no way they would have time to sit down and listen,
Right.
physically listen to everything
Right.
that gets published on that platform.
But do we get that episode back at all?
Well, I mean, we have the recording
Yeah,
of it.
we
We're
have.
just not
And
allowed to
it's-
have it on YouTube.
and it's on.
But if we
it's on
cut that
Spotify.
chunk out,
I mean,
you could
I,
like re-record it and be
Probably
like,
could,
"Hey,
yeah.
this is re-recorded."
I could repost it. But
Not
that's,
that it's like,
yeah, it's not a battle that we need to have.
No,
Right.
but I
we
just
have
didn't know if
99 other
they-
episodes up on YouTube right
Yeah.
now.
right?
Yep.
If they, you know,
Yeah.
what they actually do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I know we have it, but I didn't know if they are like, you cannot
Yeah.
use this again. Da da da. But
Yep.
yeah,
I don't. Yeah, and that's there's a level to that where I agree. It's a private entity and it's YouTube's property. It's their
Okay.
platform, so they can do what they want on it. So in that regard, you kind of bite the bullet. But it's also there's a lot of unfairness, I would say.
yeah, you could put something up,
hey.
you know, of like a half naked lady or something,
Full
or
naked.
full naked, and it would totally be fine.
You can 100% post
mean-
like softcore stuff. And,
Yeah.
and it's totally fine.
I'm
but,
thinking of the hardcore stuff that just came out of Israel a while back.
Oh, really?
Oh.
I didn't see
And
that.
I don't know.
and people missing their heads.
Oh,
things
sure.
Like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And that was
That was
fine
fine.
for a while,
Yeah.
you know, and it
Yeah.
took a while to get that. Like, how does a quippet of you and your
Yeah.
podcast get picked up?
And I say
Right.
3 words or something that they're like,
But-
whoa.
But the wild stuff that's happening real time, wartime overseas. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to focus on that. We're very fortunate that that we are growing that YouTube presence, and
Yeah.
the more creators and podcasts and things like that are like us that are doing that, it puts more pressure back on them.
yeah.
Our hunting show came under fire along with everybody else that had outdoor content, and we persevered. We kind of band together as a community and tweaked some things, and now we don't have near as much problems with that platform as far as showing a hunting video or a fishing video. It was getting so weird. People didn't like fishing videos because we were harming the fish's face
Shut
with the hose.
up.
I mean, it was getting weird there for a while, you know. So, but you know, everyone kind of rose up and band together and said, "Fine, then we'll all go to Rumble or we'll go to this. I
Yeah.
don't need to watch it there." And I think it just turned that corner where, oh wow, we do need the creators, the actual producers, the 80%ers,
the doers.
yeah, the doers here. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of the things that you run into. I mean, you know, 2 years in, you're bound to get something. Like you're going to start showing up on some radars. You know?
yeah, no, I thought that was, it's totally set my mind, and it shouldn't have. That, oh my God, you know, if I would have thought about it before the easiest way to do is to populate them all at once to move them over. And if I would have did them one by one, which I'd been doing with certain ones leading up to that, I probably would have flagged us. Probably about 20 of those episodes, because
Yeah.
I know how we talk, and I
Right.
know that we talk about things that you know, someone in Silicon Valley or whatever probably wouldn't approve of.
Right.
So I was actually surprised that we only got flagged once.
And again, like back to the point, like that's kind of the point is we're talking to the 80%
Yeah,
of the majority of the people that think and talk like us in this country and beyond.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of folks that think and talk like us all over the world
yeah, you better
that are
believe
listening
it.
to it. And it just resonates, and it is what it is. You know, that 20%, the loud ones that are running those platforms and are like, no, this ain't going to work. Pull this out of here. We don't want these people to band together. We don't want them thinking about
Right.
things the same way.
Yeah, you'll get what you want. Or what does Charles Schwab say? You'll get nothing, and you'll be happy with it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You'll
Is
you take what you get.
Yeah.
And that's kind of another neat thing to talk about as far as the 100th episode goes, like just the reach that we've seen. Like certainly, you know, when you look at the heat map on the podcast what do you call
Analytics
it?
and stuff.
Yeah, that we use, that provider that we use. A lot of it is in the Midwest in the U.S., but then it's kind of spread all over the U.S. with
Oh, man.
different hot
Yeah.
spots all over. But then up into Canada, out into other countries. I mean, kind of all over the place.
Oh
it's
my
neat.
gosh. Yeah, Europe, the Netherlands up there in that region, Australia. We always kind of bring up
Yeah.
Australia.
Yeah.
And even with the United States, and Zach Johnson figured this out right away with Millennial Farmer, which I think was kind of his intent, was to share it with people from Chicago, Minneapolis, urban areas.
Yeah.
I'm always fascinated to see how big we are in like a town like Milwaukee,
Right.
because I don't know, me thinking I'm from a small town in Nebraska, but
Right.
people want to hear other people's perspective, and I
Yeah.
think now it's important as ever to hear from everybody.
It is.
not just one
Yeah.
little corner over here.
Right.
Otherwise, you form an echo chamber, and I'm guilty of that too.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if I just talk to my people and that think like me, that think with me, I'm not going to learn anything. I'm not going to expand at all.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no growth.
That is
there.
something you say. I think you're pretty good at that. We're listening to kind of both sides, not necessarily saying political, but kind of, and trying to feel it out and figure out your own and what is your own truth. Because again, everyone's feeding us crap, but like where do you stand in different things? And I think that's both of you guys are so good at bringing like knowledge to subjects where I come in pretty blindly and a little bit, I'll say it myself. I'm sure people listen and probably are annoyed with me or like, oh my God, is that girl super dingy? I'm not as knowledgeable. I'm just saying, like, I'm not as knowledgeable in a lot of different areas like you guys are, or you'll say things and I'm like, what? I've never heard that, where that could maybe be something that a lot of people have. But I also think that there has to be more people like me too that
of course
could resonate with it. So maybe bring in a different perspective sometimes. But I feel like in general, we're all on the same page, but we all have different opinions, in certain areas.
And that really was the point of the original setup, was that you were going to bring that perspective as, a mother, a woman, a Midwesterner, a small business owner, all these kinds of things that like there's just stuff like you don't have interest in spending your time trying to listen to this or that or whatever. And and a lot of people don't. And that's the point. That's why this is called Common Folk. There's a lot of people out there doing the exact same thing. So hearing, you not understand something or asking a question about something or adding a perspective, there's probably a lot of people that are like, I was thinking the same thing too. Like, what the hell are those boys talking about?
Or you kind of got roped into this. Ben wanted you to be on it, and I really wanted you to be on to offer that perspective. There's been a number of times where me and Ben are drilling a guy with questions and getting in a conversation, and you'll reel it back and ask something in my mind completely out of left field. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a good perspective. But also, you've been put in some uncomfortable situations too. And that allows for growth.
Yeah.
We've had some guests on that maybe weren't your favorite guests, but I think it opens the door for more, for learning, for seeing someone else's perspective. So, because if we just always talk to small business owners from small town Nebraska, like what? That's boring.
That's so true.
We want to hear from these people, and those are my people. I love them. But let's not have the same conversation every time.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
That's not all of Nebraska. That's not 80% or Midwest.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's very true.
So what was your favorite though? That we all have a favorite.
Do we?
I think so.
I can't start then. Nothing like right now sticks out that I'm like, damn, that was my favorite.
I mean, I'd have to kind of look through the library, but off the top of my head, I think the one that I'm probably most proud of and that I enjoyed the most was speaking with the police officer.
Okay, yeah.
Lieutenant Howard Banks. We had a couple of episodes with him.
Yep.
And I just felt like we really brought some real life stuff, to the recording. That
yes.
That whole like humanizing the badge.
He was so open
movement.
and honest.
Yeah.
He was so open and honest with it all.
Yeah.
That
was great. We talked about policing. We talked about school resource officers, which he spent a ton of his career on.
I still think about that because I'm still on the fence with it.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, it was I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
And having the history that I have in my family with my father being a police officer, and that a lot of it resonated, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Yeah. No, that was really good. We just had, Vaughn on. We're going to get him on again, Vaughn Hammond. But
he was like so knowledgeable about everything.
Like that's Vaughn, man. And the fact that he was on here and just open and wanted to chat it up. I mean, our government hand selected him to send over to Afghanistan to teach their farmers how to grow
Wild. Yeah, that's
crops.
crazy. Yeah.
I mean,
Which when he started talking about it, I think all of us were like, well, I don't even
I wasn't ready for that.
didn't think we were going there, and we didn't even
Yeah.
know. We're like, who is
Yeah.
this dude sitting here? Yeah.
We would have done if we would have known that up front. We probably would have done an episode just on that.
Oh, for sure.
We'll probably have him back on. We can
Yeah.
get him after that.
What was your favorite though?
Well, Vaughn's right up there.
Okay.
I've always really enjoyed Michael Severe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great,
You know,
yeah.
and his new role with that foundation taking over as kind of the CEO. I think basically he's the CEO, the chairman, chairhead, whatever. I really enjoyed listening to him, and I knew he had quite the story. Being a former, our Marine, you're never a former Marine. You're always
You're
a Marine.
Yeah.
Yep. So I thought that was really cool to get him on board, because that's a guy that's been in media and has kind of done it all, seen it all, and the fact that he took out some time to come on our podcast and
Yeah.
chop it up with us, I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of Marines and military, we've had a ton of guests that were involved in the military.
Yeah.
We'll talk about some of these brands that we partnered with before the end here, but local family, the Pages, Dagan Page Foundation, that was a really impactful interview.
Yeah.
One of our 13 fallen soldiers, Marine.
Yep.
There's so many. The military thing with common folk is just embedded. Like,
Yeah, it just goes
You're-
hand in hand.
yeah, you're proud of it. You're proud of your country. You're proud of your men and women who are out doing
Yep.
that thing.
Yep.
And where we are, we're super close to Offutt Air Force Base. There's a huge military influence here.
Yeah.
So we've
Really
all
is.
grown up with
Yeah.
military families, military kids. Our grandparents being military, whatever the case may be. So that's been a big piece of this too.
Oh yeah, my dad was Air Force.
Yep.
I wasn't an Army brat or anything like Air Force brat or anything like that. But yeah, there's a huge influx of military presence, in our area due to that base, being right down the road.
Yeah.
Did you think of a favorite one?
No.
No. Okay. What? All right. Well,
I mean, I've actually, when you were talking, I really, like I said earlier, I really love guests. I come a little bit ill prepared sometimes, but questions come to me. But I really enjoy this, too. Just the three of us kind of spitballing. You guys maybe bring up topics, or there's different things that we cover, because we're always like, let's just keep it short. It could just be a 20-minute
Right.
and then an hour later,
Yeah.
we realize that we kind of enjoy each other's company. We are a little bit comfortable, us three on the mic. Hi, maybe the camera. Just all of that in general, I feel, a sense of calm and comfortable.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that.
Well, do you have any goals moving forward for the next 100 episodes at all? Anything you want to see, maybe partnerships, get more military
Yeah.
people on board, or maybe get more people from Omaha and Lincoln? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel it would be fun to go to more places. Although that does a little bit, is a little bit hard with, equipment and stuff, but go on location.
Yeah.
And maybe audio is a little bit weird, but I feel like that was fun when we went to the bar. And then we did just our recent episode with the guy that did your smoker. But I feel like that's fun.
Yeah.
And doing kind of some remote stuff. And I still really want to go to the Upstream, because we eat their beef all the time.
Yeah,
and
we've got a
now
number of,
the whiskey and,
those kinds.
Handlebin. And there's just a few that I really, we've talked about so much that I would love to go visit these places.
Yeah,
and
we've
these
got
people.
a number of those on the docket that I think
Yes.
we'll definitely do this
And
year that are going to be fun.
Okay.
And I think that could be a subset or its own little playlist on YouTube even, where we take the show on the road, go on tour a little bit or something like that.
Yeah.
We'll see how we package it. But we got an opportunity for the Handlebend guys, because I'm going to be up in that neck of the woods March 16th,
Oh,
live broadcasting the St. Patrick's Day
Oh, you
Parade.
are?
For rodeo. Yeah.
Nice.
you're
Yeah, that's cool.
going?
Yeah, they the guy that usually does that broadcast got tied up with something else, so they asked me if I would do it. And it's their 150th, I believe.
Dang. Okay,
Yeah.
because we talked about this, right? The
Uh-huh.
whole town comes out for this.
Yep.
Oh, maybe we need to go up there, Ben.
That'd be awesome.
March 16th is the parade. March 17th is St. Patrick's Day. And O'Neill, the official Irish capital
Whoa.
of Nebraska. No, there's a couple other
I was
towns
going to say,
that want to
what was
vie
the
for
other
it.
town?
I
You
thi-
guys were arguing about O'Neill and
I'm
what
not
else?
sure
Not
what they're-
arguing, but yeah, we said it was somebody.
It's Greeley.
Oh, okay. That's
Greeley.
right. That's right.
And I
Okay.
wouldn't want to disagree with anybody from Greeley, but I'm from the O'Neill area, and that's how I grew up. And that's,
Your team O'Neill.
I'm Team Green. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're going to go with that too.
For me, that question that you asked Morgan, like what do I want to see us do in the next year or whatever, definitely continuing the path that we're on, because I think we're definitely fulfilling what my original idea was for the podcast, the folks we're going to talk to, the message we're going to get out. One thing that's happened that I had no plans for whatsoever was anything surrounding any kind of monetizing of this thing. I just thought, like, man, this is going to be fun. We're going to do this. It's going to be pure.
Yeah.
It's not going to be influenced by anything. It's just going to be fun. And that's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
And over the last few months, we've had a few different brands and organizations contact us and want to be a part of it. So what I would like to see is that I realize that is going to continue, and that we do partner with some of these folks, not because I want their money, because believe me, I'm working some of the numbers behind the scenes, and it ain't that much money.
Yeah.
It doesn't pay for what we're doing here. I can tell you that.
What was that, like episode 35? Ben hates money. Like, we get it. We
We've
get
talked
it.
about that a lot.
Right.
So when he says he doesn't, want it to be monetized or, didn't think, he
It is
didn't
a
come
whole
into
nother
this,
realm. Yep, it is.
there's truth to that.
But what my point is with those things is that we can come across some truly solid common folk brands that we can share with people.
Yeah.
That, again, it isn't going to be about the money, even if there's any money involved. That just we can share with the common folk, that people can feel good about purchasing from that brand, consuming that brand's products, wherever the case may be. And we've got one of them in particular we'll talk about here soon that we've partnered with, that there is no money being exchanged. This is just a good, friendly partnership of like-minded people. So that's what I would like to see part of the next coming year.
Well, and it all helps. Even every partnership that we can make or get involved with, even if there is no monetary carrot at the end of it for us or whatever, it builds the network, and that support helps us build this show, get better equipment, new equipment, figure things out. If for no other reason, it just invites us to a whole nother fan base that's fans of that brand or those people.
Yeah.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? So, like, I think it's all good. It's all positive. And as long as we, keep that in mind, like, hey, let's not worry about the bottom dollar with this thing. This should be fun. And I kind of got the sense that you built this thing more for the people you work for. Just one more thing that you could, give to the farm focused brands.
Yep.
Bring them on here, let them tell their story, let them, get their name out a little bit more, or help them do so. And with that in mind, I thought, okay, let's roll with it. Let's see what happens.
Right. And to kind of close that out, but to hammer that point home, we've had a couple that have approached us. You've talked to a few, I've talked to a few, where we've looked into their products, tested the things out, and just thought to ourselves, this just doesn't click, man. This doesn't work. I wouldn't feel good getting behind this. Not that there's anything wrong with them. It's just that I wouldn't feel comfortable telling someone you should spend your money on this. So we've gone past a number of those things. I mean, that's actually happened.
Yeah, we have. And, when we were starting out, I'm like, man, let's think about taking the money here.
Right. Yeah. And it is tempting. I mean, we all we're here as we talked about. We're doing this every single week. We're spending a couple hours every single week. You're spending additional time outside of the podcast doing the editing and putting all that together. Just the time and effort. It's a lot of time and effort. So
It is.
eventually, like anything else, and I think a lot of people understand that, stuff needs to pay for itself in order for it to continue going forward.
Right.
But for us, it's going to be through brands and partnerships that we truly believe in. So do we want to get into that?
Yeah, let's do that. And with that note, one of the things that you learn on down the line, when you take all the stupid business classes that I took in college, is that if you're a business and you're not growing, then you're dying.
Sure.
There's no in between. There's no, we broke even again. No. If you didn't create a profit, that means you're actually dying due to depreciation and this and that and everything else. You guys are well aware of that. So that's just another thing that gets thrown in there that might get overlooked. But who do you want to talk about here?
So let's get into, folks who have been listening for 100 episodes now understand what we've got in the middle of the table here. So if you're watching on YouTube, or if you haven't, go on YouTube and watch this and check it out because this is so cool. So from the beginning, one of my best buddies built this table just for this podcast. Mm-hmm. And when we were putting this thing together, we talked about, man, let's put some hidden compartment in the middle of the table. So most of our guests, all of our guests who come really don't understand what this is because they apparently weren't watching on YouTube.
Yep.
So then we pop this thing open and we pull this flag out, and we've got this hidden chamber of deliciousness.
A little speakeasy.
Yeah. And over the last year or two, we've had a couple of different brands in here, all brands that we're proud of and would love to have in here again. Mm-hmm. And currently, most recently, if folks go back, that episode with Soldier Valley Spirits,
Rich Hagedorn.
Yeah. I mean, that was within like the last few from here.
Yeah.
So it was very recent.
It was one of the few full feature-length YouTube episodes that we posted, and it's on location. It's at the distillery.
Yep, at their tasting room, recorded on YouTube, so full video, all that kind of stuff. So we had a lot of fun with him and learning about their brand and for what they stand for and how they got started and what they're working towards. Mm-hmm. Is a brand that I'm very proud to talk about.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, their product is great.
Yeah.
I mean, you can
So
have a lot of things where it's like, man, these are good people and they do great things, but the product's just kind of, but whatever, I'll help. They're doing good. They're cool.
Yeah.
That's not the case. These guys are distilling some quality spirits.
Yeah. No, I thought Rich's show was pretty fun. He is a lively guy, very honest conversation. And yeah, you hit the nail on the head. The product itself is top notch.
Yeah.
And also, what I wanted to mention there, you talk about like don't let the money get in the way or be your most important factor. The way they grew this, going from air base to air base to different military bases across the nation, that's not your big money makers trying to sell to a base here and there.
Right.
You know, so from the get-go, they had other things in mind as far as growth, how we're going to grow, and who we're going to grow for.
Yep.
So, I mean, Soldier Valley Spirits, pretty easy to get behind those guys.
100%. And it's, as far as bourbon and whiskey goes, I've been drinking different bourbons and whiskeys for a long time. I'm sure you have as well, Andy. Mm-hmm. Morgan has not because she hates them. Every time we get a little bit out, she's just like, oh, God, I can't stand the smell. Mm-hmm. One of the craziest things is one of the ones that we have here. I think it's this one.
I know
right?
which one is it. I always forget.
Omaha Beach.
D-Day Bourbon Whiskey.
Yep. Okay.
So freaking good.
92 proof.
It's actually probably better. Remember how I wanted to take it home? We should probably leave it here because I'd be some drunk ass bitch.
Whoa.
Not be. Sorry, some drunk
it was
lady at home. I wouldn't be mean, actually.
Okay, all right. Well, so this was one that Rich poured for us at the distillery.
That special?
Oh, your cord stuck. That Morgan tried, and she was like, "Wow, that's good. I can't believe I can drink that."
I didn't shiver.
Like, I think you forced it down because it was like you kind of had to because we were there drinking it. But then you were like, "Whoa, this is good." So again, like, I don't know, they're doing something right. So we're gonna let's have a little bit.
Wait, are we testing all of these?
No,
a little celebratory shot. A little
here, you pour for me.
To the common folk, for the common folk, because that's really what we stand for and what we're all about here.
Is that a lot?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with the Soldier Value.
And to all of our guests and all of our,
good.
I don't even want to call them fans. I just want to say listeners. You know what I mean? Because
sure,
I think we're just for more than anything, we're just saying what I think a lot of people are thinking. And I'm putting my spin on it. Morgan, you're bringing your perspective, and Ben, you're doing the same. And I think people just appreciate that. And it also allows everyone to kind of be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
I love those comments. I love it when people write you guys emails, you're going to have to watch the Sweaty Balls.
Oh, okay,
That's a holiday episode.
Now I need to know who I sound like.
That up.
Oh gosh, his face is like,
It's hilarious.
These are good balls.
It's that tone of voice too, where man. All right, so let's cheers real quick
Cheers.
here.
To
Give
100.
this a little shot. All right.
oh my gosh,
Oh, yeah.
it is so good. Seriously, I'm not lying.
And can I do a shout out?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did a basketball game, a very good game in Hastings, Nebraska this past weekend. And I got invited to Paul's Cigar Bar, downtown Hastings.
All right.
Really?
Didn't even know this place existed. It is awesome. You would love it. Checked out their menu. They have one heck of a mixologist. I guess that's the correct term. So kind of nice, really good drinks. And the drink I had to have was called the Seasoned Soldier Valley Bourbon.
Nice. How
And
was it?
So do we need to go there?
Immaculate. It was. I'm not just saying that. It had some amaretto in it. I think some lime juice and all these other garnishes. Kind of
Sounds good.
a little hoity-toity for me, but it was delicious.
So educate, does that mean like it's just a place that serves alcohol and then
And cigars.
men just sit around and smoke cigars on couches?
Yep. I don't think I even saw a TV in the place. Just nice
Serious?
cushion, couches, seats. You are there to sit
And talk.
and enjoy people's company, enjoy your stick, your cigar, and enjoy your drink. And
No food.
Oh, I loved it. I just
Did you
loved it.
smell like an ashtray when you left?
I'm sure I did, but I kind of like that too. So
When we went to
we
their
had a company locker.
I've just
so
never
we
been
had
to
some
one.
really nice cigars there
Nice.
too.
I bet.
when we went to their tasting room, I had a old fashioned that they made up their
Oh,
style.
nice.
Man, it was great.
Yeah.
Good drinks. So yeah, just shout out to those guys. We appreciate them having us, and we appreciate them allowing us to represent their brand.
Yeah, be a part of their story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because that's really what it is. So cool. And then there's a few things that we're working on. So here in the coming year, there's some cool brands that we're talking to, some stuff that's going to be coming out, the products that we feel really good about. So stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned for that, and we're going to continue to grow that YouTube channel. I think we're going to have some, funny skits on there, some real skits on there, and just some more storytelling more than anything. So
Yeah.
every little bit that anybody out there can listen or follow along, man, I really do appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, we appreciate you.
Well, and I was going to get to that. I wanted to tell you guys that, like I said, I had no expectations. But I was, kind of honored that you thought to bring me on board, and I thought, let's give it a go. And it's been a very, very fun and rewarding ride.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been, if anything, I've just lost a bunch of money on this thing, right?
You're right. Yeah.
But no, I wouldn't trade for anything. And you guys taking me under your wing and let me be a part of it, just thank you.
Ben's crazy idea of this.
It's been
thank
fun,
him.
man.
Don't thank me.
Nope,
I mean,
it's been fun, and
Yeah.
you've been as big a part of it
Yeah.
as any of the rest of us. So
oh my gosh, you do so much. Thank you.
folks. Check out, as we said, Soldier Valley Spirits. Again, like I said in the beginning, one of the primary reasons why we started this was to drive folks to the farm-focused brand, to the Stock and Rod brand. Go to those websites, check out the gear. There's a lot of cool stuff there. We don't talk about that enough, probably, but it is what it is. And what else was I thinking? Oh, the reviews. If you listen on the Apple app, definitely go on there and do a review. We don't talk about that much either. Again,
Gosh,
we're not focused on
I know, and
this stuff.
I got an email just from out of left field, and someone was congratulating us on the 5-star rating. I'm like, oh wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And you know what else we don't do enough is take pictures with guests. I think I should be in charge of that.
Yeah, you should.
Yep, that's on you.
Okay.
So as I was saying, go on there, do that review, do the stars things, but type something in there. Tell us what you think. I think our last
not.
one was like from right towards the end of 23. So we want to get a couple more of those rolling. Spotify, do the stars on that, and then just go on YouTube. add some comments. Tell us what you think about the videos and the episodes.
What's really fun is getting that conversation going. You know, when I post videos for News Channel Nebraska and someone says, "Oh, that person was in the wrong," and then this person will say, like, "Well, can you see where they're coming from?" It's fun watching the dialogue progress, and everyone kind of comes away. If you don't get into a shouting match, I feel like there's some grounds there for where everyone can actually learn something.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for listening. Thank
100.
you for being around for 100. Yeah, if you're new here, welcome.
Go to the one that talks about who we are. Didn't we do those interviews?
That was
early.
Very early ones.
That might have changed by now.
Mine got flagged and removed with.
If you're
no, it didn't.
As I said, if you're new here, welcome.
Yep.
You know, if you're looking for your church family, we might be that. I mean, what are all the things? What are all the things they say when you go to your buddy's church? You know, the
peace be with you.
Yeah,
and also with you.
The offering will be coming through shortly, so check that out.
Oh, there we go.
And
the hat's coming around.
Yeah, and thanks for being here. You're part of our family. So
no doubt.
Yep, Common Folk fam.
I guess that's all we got.
Yeah. That's it.
You guys got anything else?
Common Folk Nation.
That's right.
Gosh.
All right. Well, I got to get back to work. I got to fix the water line.
Yeah. So. Sounds good.
So I can go to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's right.
Later.
Okay.
All right. See you.
Peace.